My dad's birthday was on Thursday, March 16th. And I had called him that evening to wish him a happy birthday. And we were planning on a celebration for that Sunday for him to come over for dinner with me, my brother, my sister, and his 6 grandchildren. My dad and his crew were out filling in the potholes. And anytime that there's a crew on a highway, they always have the DOT truck that has the antenna in the back of it. And they said that a cement truck had entered the work zone. And the driver was, not only was he speeding, he was drinking a bottle of water that had dropped from his hands. And he reached over to pick it up. But when he reached over to pick it up, not only did he take his eyes off the road, but he had pulled the steering wheel down with him, which caused him to veer over to the right, and he slammed into the work zone. And that's where he hit and killed my dad. When the worker in the DOT truck saw the cement truck starting to veer over, he started wailing on the horn and just started screaming for everyone to run and to get out of the way. Well, the workers, they couldn't see what was happening, so they all ran to the left, but my dad ran to the right, literally right into the path of the truck. The driver of the cement truck told me that when he looked up, him and my dad actually locked eyes, and then my dad tried to stop himself and shield himself, from the impact. And that always weighs so heavy on my heart because I know where my dad was hit, and I just think, my God, my dad saw the whole thing coming. He saw the whole thing coming. What are you thinking that last second? And he was hit so hard. He was he went up through the wheel well. He was thrown in the air like a rag doll. That's what the witnesses said that were driving by. They saw a man tossing in the air like a rag doll. And when he landed, he was completely disfigured from the top of his head to the tip of his toes. This crash was 100% preventable. Going into a work zone, we all know we should, slow down, pay attention, and move over. And maybe, just maybe, if that is what the driver did, if the cement truck driver did that, maybe my dad would be here. He was a New York City fireman, retired. He spent his entire career saving lives. And that one poor choice he made that day, the one bad mistake, he has to live with the fact that he killed my dad. And, did he go to jail? No. He was given a 90-day license suspension. I was given an urn with ashes, and he was given a 90-day license suspension. But he told me that my father's face is the first person he sees when he wakes up, and the last person he sees before he goes to bed. So, this is where that prison sentence is, because I can't even imagine living with something like that. This has destroyed not only my family, but the crew that was there that witnessed all that. Some of them, they couldn't go back to work for months. We all know as we get older and, we work and you get that group of friends, you get like a work family, and that's what they were. This crew was a work family. They always looked out for each other. And they just destroyed. The move over law wasn't in place when my dad was killed, but I truly believe that if it was, my dad's life could have been saved. It just takes a second just to change a lane. If we all honestly just did our part, if you slow down, you pay attention, you move over, you could save a life. As parents, we have a huge responsibility. Our kids are in our driving school for the first 16 years of their life. And I don't think that we, as parents, we realize that our kids mirror our behavior. For an example, if you're using your phone when you're driving, how can you ever expect your kids not to? If you don't teach them the rules and the laws of the road, where are they going to learn that from? So if you're driving and you see, let's say, a sign for move over, explain to them the different types of workers that you need to move over and slow down and pay attention. Explain to them just how dangerous their job is and how important it is for you to just take the time to move over to possibly save their life. We're slowing down so that people can go home to their families. Working on the highway, these brave men and women are putting their lives on the line every day so that the roads are safer for us. So why wouldn't we return the favor by slowing down, moving over? Pay attention.